Welcome to the Hollywood Outsider, an award-winning weekly entertainment podcast. This is our 2022 holiday movie preview. We take you through each month, November and December, and discuss every major theatrical and some streaming releases that are going to be worth keeping an eye out for. Get ready to make plans because it's now time for our 2022 holiday movie preview. Let's get on with the show. My name is Aaron Peterson. Joining me today are my fellow Ho, Troy Heinrichs.
I made it. I'm here. What? That's right. No candy hangover for this guy.
Yeah, we're recording this right after Halloween.
That means officially we could have like jingle bells playing for this, right? Christmas music starts today. Is that how that works?
I went to get Halloween candy, and they had Christmas candy already in its place. I got it on Halloween, to be fair, but...
My friends, I swear the guy across the street from them, last night, no Christmas lights out. This morning, they woke up, the Christmas lights were on. I swear he put them up at midnight last night.
Why do you need to put them out? It's not even... Put them out after Thanksgiving. Isn't there a rule? Can we create one? The Congress can't agree on anything. Can they agree on something like this? Can we have like specific times for Christmas lights and ornaments and all that stuff? Because I don't need Christmas for 2 freaking months.
No, because we can't even agree on time. We're still trying to figure out the whole daylight saving time thing that's going to be happening this month again.
Oh, yeah. Remember when they said, oh, yeah, we all agreed on it. It was unanimous. We'll get it done, man. Why am I still turning my clock back and forward and back and forward and back? That's dumb.
If you travel backwards around the globe, do you ever actually go anywhere? Because it'll be like the same time when you land again. I don't know. I always think about these things.
Well, actually, I've actually been in a plane the day of a time change, but I've never been on a plane when the time changed. I believe that means you end up at the island, right? That's how you end up at Lost Island?
It could be, yeah. Either that or in a black hole with Matthew McConaughey.
You don't want that. Well, I mean, a lot of people might want that because you know what he is? He's all right. We are missing 2 voices this week, and that is Amanda Sink. She started a brand new vocation, so congratulations to her. If you are following her on social media, be sure to give her a shout out. She's embarking on a new exciting endeavor, and John Davenport could not make it. So it is just Troy and I that are going through all of these movies. So just so you know, anybody that contributes on Patreon, we're keeping all the money because those two can't show up.
For all 2 months of these movies coming out.
Right. That's the way it should work. That's what I understand. Even though it really just goes back into the show. But still, let's just pretend we get rich off this thing.
Well, I need the extra, actually, because I have been delinquent. I'm giving AMC my $23 to keep paying Nicole Kidman every month, and I've been to the movie theater like once. So I need to really step up the game in November and December and get back to the theater.
I had a great idea, right? So I went with a friend of mine, Tyler, a friend of the show, and saw Terrifier 2, which really...
I heard it was terrifying.
They say people left the theater because they were throwing up and because they were fainting because it was so violent, and I don't agree with any of that, but it's an interesting movie, and I love Art the Clown. I think it's a really cool horror cult icon. But that's not what I want to get to. I want to talk about my idea, which is, you know those Nicole Kidman commercials for AMC, right? Everybody's seen them?
Yeah, the Kidman National Anthem.
Yes, the Kidman National Anthem. For some reason, they play them in the theater when you're already there. So the sales pitch is, we've got you. Come back, I guess. I mean, shouldn't it be on TV somewhere or something? Whatever. Anyway, so my idea is, if you really want people to enjoy those more, instead of like reshooting another, because they're going to do another commercial with Nicole Kidman. I think the last one was like $25 million they spent on this. Get a bunch of other celebrities. I'm thinking like Seth Rogen, Kevin Smith, just out of the box celebrities, Bruce Campbell. And you have them re-record the exact same commercial that Nicole Kidman did, but they do it as themselves, but they have to use an Australian accent.
I think you're onto something. I think you do it that way, but you have them play one of their iconic characters. So like Bruce Campbell comes in and eats his popcorn with a chainsaw hand and
yes,
things of that nature, you know?
I could do that. You could get Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller, and they're just throwing balls at each other. No, you don't want to encourage that because then people will start doing it in the theater. We don't need more.
Seth Rogen's up in the top right corner smoking a doob.
Of course, you want to encourage pot use in the theater.
That's already happened.
We're just doing more distractions here. I think we're creating more. But I think this would be awesome if people would get more excited to see these commercials if it's different every time. If it's like Clue, you get a different ending every time you go to the theater. This is brilliant. Frickin' make it happen.
Oh, it's the exact same Nicole Kidman commercial, but a new person sits down next to her, and then it's different who the person's going to be. So you have to watch it because you don't know who the person's going to be that sits down next to her at the end of the commercial.
I'm in with that too. All of these are fantastic. All of these are better than watching another Nicole Kidman walking around telling us how beautiful cinema is commercial. Not that it wasn't great the first 5,000 times I've seen it.
Also, the movie that they play on the screen during the course of the commercial is the exact same one. I thought it was great. There was a Redditor who actually redid the Nicole Kidman commercial, but made it all horror movies that were showing when she looks up at the screen rather than Jurassic World and whatever else was up there in the existing one. I think they should, have to like change those out so they're at least previews of stuff, not stuff that we've already seen. Because I'm not going back to the movie theater to see stuff I already saw.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have, but I get your point. I concede. You're absolutely right. Sorry, I got a Nicole Kidman kick. We can probably move on, but I'm telling you, there's some magic there, and people want to take a look at that because AMC, you want people to get excited, and also release the commercial to where people would see it.
Like during football on Sunday.
Or anything that's not already at the place where they've already paid for. I don't understand the logic here. I just don't get it.
It auto deducts from my account. I don't need Nicole Kidman to tell me to come. It's already paid.
It's a weird marketing ploy. Okay, well, we got to mention this. We haven't been able to talk too much about it, but on our Patreon, if you're a Patreon subscriber, we had a bonus episode where we talked in depth about Henry Cavill becoming Superman again. It's exciting news. What we haven't had time to talk about, because it came out after that, was that it also kind of led to Henry Cavill's no longer going to be The Witcher. So he's already filmed season 3. Once that comes out, he is done, and he's being replaced by Liam Hemsworth.
Okay. As the Witcher?
As the Witcher.
As the main character?
As Geralt of Rivia.
As Geralt.
Yeah.
Why?
Rivia? I always say that wrong.
Dumb. Stupid. Start over. Reboot.
There's they have a whole collection of Witchers. Pick any of them. Pick one. Just give me a different character. But to play the same character, there's no way you can watch that without going, he's not the same guy.
It's like, are we watching Doctor Who?
There's a Geralt.
The Doctor can be different people, but like this isn't the Doctor Who universe. Completely different guy that doesn't look like the other guy. That does not work for me. And this is the thing with doing like book or video game adaptation properties. Last of Us is a great example, right? We're going to have the HBO series. Is the HBO series going to get to season 3 before we get to the third game on the PlayStation? And like you can make up your own story. So like let's just play in the Witcher universe, but it's a completely different character. And like keep the lore, but make your own content. And then he could be a completely different character that would still work just fine. You know
what's sad is I watched every episode of that show. I love that show. I've played some of the game. Is it Geralt or Geralt?
I don't know. It's a GIF or GIF. Same argument.
It is, right? Well, I know they say it in the show, and I'm like, I always forget how they say it. Anyway, I don't care. I like the show, and I love Henry Cavill as that character, who I'm going to refer to as that character.
Well, he's no longer Cavalt. There you go. We'll say it that way.
There was someone on Twitter, rightfully so, came back at us when we were and said it's a bit of a downgrade, and said, that's not fair. Why don't we give Liam Hemsworth a chance? And there's some degree of truth to that, but I would say we've seen enough of his body of work to fairly calculate the differences between those two men in terms of how they would interpret characters and also screen presence and everything else. And it's like going from steak to tofu. I'm sorry. It is. I really hope Liam is great. I hope he knocks out of the park, blows everybody away, and we're like, damn, he's awesome. I can't believe he wasn't Witcher the whole time. I just haven't seen anything in his body of work that would lead me to believe that was going to happen.
Yeah, but this is like your favorite show that you like really hated that all the crap blew up. Lethal Weapon, right?
Yeah.
It's like you bring the new character in, but he's not the same character. He's his brother or whatever he was, or cousin.
And that actually worked because it was a different character. I mean,
yes,
it worked as much as it could have.
Yeah, make this guy Buralt or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Duralt. Heralt? I don't know. But the thing is, like, they've got a bunch of Witchers. They're in the show. I mean, he goes back and hangs out with his bros, and they're all Witchers. Be one of them. You don't need to be the guy. Just say he's off on adventures, and it's too bad. Netflix, you got something in store for you, but season 4 will definitely be one worth watching, at least an episode.
I mean, it could be mystical, right? Like Geralt or Geralt or however you want to say the G, like disappears into a dimension, right? And one of his bros has to go save him from the dimension.
We could take 5 seconds to actually go look at the pronunciation, but none of us are gonna do it. That's the sad
Who
part.
cares? He's gone.
Well, no, the character's
Liam
there.
now.
He's coming back. He's gonna, and they're gonna, they're gonna do the, wow, you look much different, or one of those lines, right? Like when they recast Don Cheadle.
Wow, that last battle with the dragon that you had,
Really did some
that
damage.
which really did a number for you last night, huh?
Did you get some plastic
Great party.
surgery? Did you get rid of some muscles? You're gonna have to bulk up, buddy, because
Did you add a CGI mustache? I don't understand.
Cavill doesn't skip leg day, you know? You know what? Let's get to our holiday movie. There is going to be a Friday the 13th prequel series on Peacock. I just want to mention that because I don't know why we're getting that. It's not going to probably be Jason. It'll probably be, like Bates Motel, how Jason became Jason. I don't really need that. It's not what I want, but I'll watch it. So get excited, I guess. There's your last of your horror feeding. We're done with horror now.
Can't we just come up with new serial killers?
No. Art the Clown is newish. You don't really know Art the Clown. It's very gory. I don't know if you'd like it.
I'm excited. I don't have to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy. Like, give me somebody new. Even Jigsaw is still newer. Give me more Jigsaw.
Art the Clown is a really good character. I like to see what they do with him going forward. I don't think Terrifier 2 is a great movie. It has some great elements. Lauren Lavira, who is the lead female, she's like the final girl. Fantastic. She's great. Best part of the movie. Loved her. Let's get to our winter holiday movie preview. Now, this is basically November and December. We're going through all the movies that are coming out and kind of seeing what is exciting, letting you guys know what's out there, and also our 2 cents for what it's worth. So you ready to start with November?
I love November. It's a great month.
Okay, so I'm going to read through all the titles coming out and what they're about, and then we can discuss. Okay, so we're going to do it week by week. So starting with Friday, November 4th, first up is Armageddon Time. It's a coming-of-age story based on screenwriter James Gray's childhood during the era of the election of Ronald Reagan. Stars Anne Hathaway, Robert De Niro, James Gray, Oscar Isaac, and a lot more. Then we have Weird, the Al Yankovic story. This film will be a fictional biopic about the life of musician and comedy mastermind Al Yankovic. So there's Evan Rachel Wood and, of course, Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al Yankovic. And also Weird Al is in it. What's interesting about this movie is they're doing it almost like a Weird Al song because none of this is really true. Or at least parts of it aren't.
They're also showing it on a parody channel called the Roku channel, not an actual channel.
It's going to be on Roku. Yep. Enola Holmes 2, which is only on Netflix. Billy Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill. Enola Holmes takes on her first case as a detective, but to unravel the mystery of a missing girl, she'll need some help from friends and brother Sherlock. And then Nocebo, which starts in theaters November 4th and then November 22nd on video on demand and digital. It's a Shudder original. It stars Eva Green and Mark Strong. It's a fashion designer, suffers from a mysterious illness that confounds her doctors and frustrates her husband. Help arrives in the form of a Filipino nanny who uses traditional folk healing to reveal a horrifying truth, which this one I've seen. You'll be able to read my full review on our website, thehollywoodoutsiders.com, before the end of this week. So when this episode airs, it should be out or close to coming out. And I will say it's a nice little thriller. It's not as good as it could be, but Eva Green is really, this is probably some of her better acting, some of her best acting to date. So I recommend it.
Is the ending of Nocebo going to be better than Smile's ending? Because I was in all the way until the very end, and I was like, "That's dumb."
I like this. I like the ending to Smile. So maybe you shouldn't trust me on this.
Ugh.
The ending to Nocebo, I think, is very good.
Let me clarify. I think the ending to Smile is perfect.
Well, then why was it not good?
It was the visual show.
Oh, the effects.
Showing me what happens.
Yeah.
The effects were so dumb. It was like no, if it would just cut that one scene out, the movie's perfect.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That one scene just ruined it.
I don't necessarily agree with you, but I at least understand where you're coming from now. It makes more sense. All right, well, back to November 4th. So these are the 4 movies that are coming out this week. And if you want to alternate week to week, I'll take one week. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's a good start. It's a good start to the month.
Which one of those are you most excited about of those 4?
I mean, all of them are good. I mean, Armageddon Time has the good family feel to it and the coming of age story, and it's Anthony Hopkins on the screen, and of course, when you have Anne Hathaway, and it's like, ooh, this just seems like good theater kind of feel to the movie. I love to see what Daniel Radcliffe's going to do with Weird Al Yankovic. I mean, Millie Bobby Brown is just adorable, and of course, if you're going to bring in Brother Sherlock into this new adventure, I think that's got magic written all over it. And I really like the psychological thriller aspect of Nocebo. So thankfully, Enola Holmes is on Netflix, so I can use all 3 movies for my AMC that weekend without a problem.
I am really stoked. I liked Enola Holmes, the first one, quite a bit. I thought that was... Did you too? It was...
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a really great family film.
Absolutely.
It was just perfect.
And I thought Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill's chemistry was really good. They really felt like a brother and sister. I liked how he was there for her, but he was also kind of stern. A little bit of the dickish Sherlock we know, but not too far gone with her around, which was nice. But I gotta say, like Weird is the one I'm most excited about. I mean,
yeah,
it's just
because I want to see what
concept.
it does.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of he's involved in his own biography. Okay, great. And they're gonna make it like not real. I mean, basically, Weird Al Yankovic gets to have a love affair with Madonna. That never happened, but they're going to do it anyway because it's his story. It's just like he did his songs. He just rewrote popular things and made it his way, things that he liked, And that's what the movie's going to be. I'm excited about this concept. I think it's great. I would love to see how this turns out, and the critics are raving about it. So,
yeah, it's like the remakes of when they did Bohemian Rhapsody or Rocket Man, but in this case, it's completely not exactly the same.
Exactly.
We get the Elvis side by side or the Live Aid side by side of Freddie Mercury and oh my gosh, drawing a blank. Rami Malek doing the song from the stage. It's like Weird Al is going to be the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's going to be, instead of that, it's actually going to be, it's kind of like akin to where the actuality was Elvis at the end of his career, kind of bloated and hanging out. And what Al's going to present is young Elvis. It's going to be the sexiest version of it.
Exactly.
It's going to be great. I'm really stoked for this.
Plus Rainn Wilson's in there, so you always get good comedic gold from Rainn, which is awesome.
Okay, you're up.
All right, so moving on to the next weekend, November 11th, we have Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is going to be taking the stage. Angela Bassett returns, as well as a few others, to protect the nation from intervening world powers in the wake of King T'Challa's death. As the Wakandans strive to embrace their next chapter, the heroes must band together with Nakia and Everett Ross to forge a new path for their beloved kingdom. Also over on Apple TV Plus, we have Spirited, which is going to star Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. Why this is coming out this weekend and not 2 weekends later for Thanksgiving weekend, I still don't know. But basically, it's going to be the concept of A Christmas Carol done as a musical in the reverse. So instead of, Scrooge going to see the ghosts, Scrooge is actually going to tell the ghost of Christmas present what's up. And I think that's going to be absolutely freaking amazing because Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, obviously comedic gold right out of the gate.
And it's a musical. Who had this idea? Who was sitting around going, and who'd be perfect? Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. And everybody was like, well, star power, yes, but perfect fitting? I can't wait to see how this works out.
Whoever this was watching the TikTok of Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds doing Mika's song.
Oh, that was so good.
Over and over and over and over and over again.
That was
I think
good.
that's what it was.
Yeah. That was very
how do we make this into a movie? Because this is good stuff.
I think they did that while they were filming the movie. Probably, I would imagine.
That's probably how they were together. That would make sense.
Maybe they did that to prove, see, when this comes out and everybody's like, they shouldn't be singing, we show this TikTok video and everybody's like, oh. And if you haven't seen it, go look for it. It's great. It's actually pretty good.
It's classic. Just classic.
Now, the bigger question is Black Panther Wakanda Forever as the trailer alludes, Wakanda Forever. This is going to be a big swing, both for Marvel and I think for comic book fans, because you've got a movie that people are stoked for. They want to see the next one, but it's also following T'Challa, and it's following Chadwick Boseman's death, and they're also killing the character of T'Challa in the movie. And we're going to have to both deal with that, and they also have to position the film to still be an exciting Black Panther movie. I can only assume that Shuri is going to take up the mantle because that's who did it in the comics, but no guarantees. It could be Lupita Nyong'o that does it. So what do you think? Are you nervous about this? In terms of, it's a big swing rather than just recast T'Challa.
I mean, I hope that they can use enough of recorded material that they don't have to do the CGI for T'Challa for this one, because I think that's where it's going to be a little bit weird to see.
I think he'll already be gone, right? He'll already be gone. So unless
I think they said there was a couple scenes with him in it, so I don't know if it's like footage that they're going to reuse or.
I bet you it's a dream, because in a dream sequence you can get away with a lot. You can let a lot of stuff slide. So maybe something like that.
Yeah. Kind of like when he's like down there in the first movie and he's in the spirited mushroom underground and he's talking to his dad.
Yeah.
Kind of that same thing where the Black Panther mantle switches from him to whoever takes up the mantle. I think that could be very, very well done if you look at it from that perspective. I mean, the trailer is just another level. I mean, everything about the trailer is so good. And I think the introduction of like this water tribe that's going to be out there, trying to get a jump on the Avatar Way of the Water and kind of take that, thunder from Avatar in December. I think that's really interesting. There's just a lot of good stuff that I saw in this that makes me super excited, but it's also like, phase 4, kind of a letdown. So
huge letdown.
This has to be something that just really knocks it out of the park for Marvel and somehow ties it all together to make all of the things that we've gone through at this point worth the time and effort. Or just say, you know what, this is the start of phase 5 and just kind of, retcon the whole thing.
And they're using this as the opportunity to, like you said, the underwater world. Namor is being introduced in this. He's basically Marvel's Aquaman, essentially. So
right, because every superhero thing is the same, no matter whichever franchise you.
DC and Marvel, literally, each character has a parallel character in the other universe. It just is. It just is. So this is just going to be a new version, their version of the what I've seen so far looks fantastic of that underwater world. But I'm most excited to see how they're going to handle this. And it looks like an emotional journey, which I don't think Marvel's really done very well, other than No Way Home. And I'm only talking about the second hour of No Way Home. The first hour I just think is okay. I've said it before.
Yeah, it's just okay.
This whole phase has kind of been either it's too much content, so it's neutered me to a degree because I'm just I'm done. You got too much stuff with TV and films. It's just too much, man. Or I just don't think it's consistently great. I don't know which one it is, because you can dilute things by having too much good content too. It very well could be the case. I haven't been wowed by much of what Marvel's done in this phase. So and
I think you've also in this phase, you've also introduced like too many like bad guy concepts.
What do you mean?
There's like the Shang-Chi, then the other
that was
dimension.
A good movie. Shang-Chi was a good
movie.
That was a good movie.
It's a good movie, right? Yeah, I'm saying like here we got this like demon alternate universe, and then we have with Black Widow, we have that whole group of people, and then it's like there's too many bad guys that it's like trying to figure out like what is the thing I'm supposed to be concerned about. So when
there's
Wakanda
no
shows
unifier,
up,
there's no Thanos. There's no unifier.
There's no Thanos.
Yeah,
right.
I could see that.
I think that's the challenge.
And I think they're probably heading there. Now, I'm not saying this phase has been bad. I liked Black Widow. I liked Doctor Strange in the Mouth of Madness, or Mountain of Madness. Mouth of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness. God, Aaron, I can't think today. I didn't like Eternals. I thought that movie sucked. But Thor: Love and Thunder, didn't like that one at all. Thought that movie sucked. Lately, I just think Marvel has a lot more middling than great. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and Thor, I think, was a bridge of like, hey, here's all that fun stuff that we used to do, and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't really fit phase 4. It was a previous thing,
But Ryan Coogler,
Black Widow was good because it get us Florence Pugh. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Ryan Coogler is behind this one, and he did the first Black Panther. Masterful director. He did Creed as well. Masterful director.
Amazing.
So I can't wait to see what he does with this. And we probably talked about it too
and everybody else is waiting too, because everybody else said, nope, not putting anything out that weekend. I am avoiding November 11th like the plague.
Except Apple. What are they sitting around like, oh no, people are going to stay home and watch our movie. No, they're not. They're not. Even with Ryan Reynolds in it, they're like, nah, I'll see it on Monday. It's fine. It's streaming.
They'll watch it over the weekend.
Be in the theater for this, man. I might go see it twice if it's great. I am going to miss Chadwick Boseman though.
Yeah. Do you already have your tickets reserved?
Hell yeah, I do. Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a secret. No, I don't want to tell you. I'll tell you outside of the show, just because I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be. Wait,
you want to know the secret? It's $20 a month on Patreon. Patreon.
Yep, you can ask me on Patreon. I'll tell you. I don't want to tell you here. All right, let's move on to November 18th, Friday, November 18th. The Menu. It's rated R, by the way. Rafe Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy focuses. I'm just going to keep intentionally butchering.
I heard it
names
both
now.
ways.
Yeah. Focuses on a young couple who visits an exclusive destination restaurant on a remote island where the acclaimed chef has prepared a lavish, tasty menu along with some shocking surprises. If you've seen the trailer, it kind of looks like The Hunt. I mean, it looks like it turns into some kind of revenge thriller. I have no idea what's happening based on the trailer, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it feels like Squid Games and Eden and then The Hunt all mixed together. And it looks trailer was fun. I love the trailer. I think it's a cool idea and a cool concept.
It looks interesting. Then we have She Said, which is Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan. The New York Times journalists Megan Twohy and Jodi Cantor published a report that exposes sexual abuse allegations against powerful Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. The shocking story also serves as a launching pad for the Me Too movement, shattering decades of silence around the subject of sexual assault and harassment. And then lastly, we have Slumberland. It's a Netflix release with Jason Momoa and Kyle Chandler. It's about a young girl who discovers a secret map to the dream world of Slumberland. And with the help of an eccentric outlaw, she traverses dreams and flees nightmares with the hope that she will be able to see her late father again. Just want to say, wow, what a trifecta of taste we have going on with The Menu, She Said, and Slumberland.
I see what you did there.
You like that? She Said is a lot deeper. This looks like a great movie. It looks fantastic, and it's a story I can't wait to see how it breaks down because I love journalists that just crack the major story. I just love all the President's Men movies like that. I love those. Is it too soon? That's my question to you.
Yeah, it's like the Spotlight or The Post or one of those types of movies. And it's just, I don't think it's too soon. I think the challenge that you have with this one is it's a Hollywood movie talking about Hollywood. So that gives it kind of like a weird angle of being kind of a little self-serving and self-righteous in a way. At the same time, it's also like Oscar season buzz. So it's got to push that envelope and be in that realm. And I don't want to take it away from the story of the people that actually broke this. I don't want this to be so over dramatized, over glitzed, over glammed. I want to make sure that the people that the story is actually about, get praised for the things that they were able to do to bring this to light and not have this just be, a cash grab kind of experience. So this could go really, really great. And this could go really, really wrong at the same time.
Yeah. I feel like it runs the risk because it's so soon after all that transpired. It feels like I wonder if people are going to be, it's kind of like if you're in a room and the conversation shifts to somebody brings up Trump, everybody kind of goes, because it's not that it's not a topic worth discussing or a conversation worth having. I think it's just people are tired of talking about it, or they're kind of burned out on the name Weinstein. So it's like has a trigger effect for people that aren't even involved in Hollywood to some degree. So I wonder if that's going to be a factor, or if it's not going to be at all, and it'll actually just be something that further explains what we need to take seriously in Hollywood. And
you almost lose a little bit of what do we call it, motion down the track because of the fact that the Kevin Spacey stuff came out like right after the whole Me Too movement started, and then Kevin Spacey now not being accused, right? Getting well,
he's still accused. He was just found not guilty.
Yeah, not guilty. So it's like, does that take a little bit away of the power of this concept? I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. And we're going to have a topic where we discuss that coming up about like, when can people come back from something like this, or should they come back from something like that? And that's coming up. We were going to have it a week or two ago, but it just didn't work out. Slumberland. This sounds kind of magical. The trailer looks delightful. The only thing that makes me nervous, to be perfectly honest, is it's a Netflix movie. And Netflix just historically does not land these very well.
I think it's more the over stylized special effects. I think that'll going to ruin this one. So I think, Kyle Chandler's a celebrated actor, right? I mean,
you love
Coach
him.
Taylor's.
You love him.
I love Kyle Chandler. And then Momoa is obviously a great catch. And I think you put in cute kids, and it's just a perfect like combination for a great family movie.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But if the special effects do not look good in this, oh man, it'll just tank the movie so quickly, especially because you're seeing it on your 4K, 8K TVs at home versus like a digital production at the theater on a big screen, but a smaller screen, right? I mean, it's so crystal clear on the UHD feed from Netflix on a 4K or 8K TV that the special effects are anywhere computer generated enough that you could see it stick out. It just takes you out of the experience. Alter Carbon's a great example. The second season for sure.
Oof. Talking about a whiff. That first season was great, and it's just like wah, 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 wah. All right, next for you.
All right, moving on to the Thanksgiving extravaganza. Starting on Wednesday, November 23rd, Bones and All, rated R, has Taylor Russell and Timothée Chalamet. Love blossoms between a young woman on the margins of society and disenfranchised drifter as they embark on their 3,000-mile odyssey through the backroads of America. However, despite their best efforts, all roads lead back to their terrifying pasts and a final stand that will determine whether their love can survive their differences.
Looks like a vampire movie.
I think so.
Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah.
That is not what I thought it was going to be at all. There's been people talking about this movie for a while because it has Timothée Chalamet, and that's actually how you say his name. Suck it. But it seems like a vampire movie. It seems like a vampire movie. Weird that it's a vampire movie.
Although, like, not like hinting that it's a vampire movie, but like if you've seen enough vampire stuff, you're like, this has a feel like, Nightwalkers.
Sure. If Tom Cruise would have been back there and he's like, Lestat, I wouldn't have been surprised. Of course he's here. Why not? It's a vampire movie.
Then we have Devotion, PG-13, with Glenn Powell and Jonathan Majors being elite fighter pilots. Jesse Brown and Tom Hudner become the U.S. Navy's most celebrated wingmen during the Korean War. So if you like a little more Iron Eagle, Top Gun kind of flair for your holiday experience, you can obviously check out Devotion.
Iron Eagle.
Then we have the Fablemans. Go ahead.
Iron Eagle. Jesus.
I love Iron Eagle. I love the first
before Top Gun, though. You're like, if you want a little Iron Eagle, some Top Gun flavor. Jesus. Between the two of them, Gedrick fan.
Iron Eagle's great. I love it. Luke Gossett Jr. forever.
I like that Hangman's in this movie, too, by the way. He's just like, I'm going to do all the fighter pilot movies. All of them.
Why not?
I don't blame him. Go for it, man.
Typecast, get paid. It's all good.
I love Glenn Powell. Love him.
Michelle Williams and Seth Rogen and a young Sammy Fableman sign up for The Fablemans, PG-13. They fall in love with movies after his parents take him to see the greatest show on earth. Armed with a camera, Sammy starts to make his own films at home, much to the delight of his supportive mother.
That is Steven Spielberg's love letter to his parents.
Yes.
Just so you know.
And we have Strange World. It's going to be a strange experience. That's all we can really say. Cautiously optimistic about this one. Animation from Disney. It's not Pixar. It's actually the Disney side. Jake Gyllenhaal and company are going to be on a legendary family of explorers who goes through differences threatened to topple the latest and most crucial mission into uncharted and treacherous territory. It's going to be an interesting experience. I feel like never-ending story, like the world is going to move and shift based on how they do things. Journey to the center of the earth kind of feels. It's either going to be like overly stylized or it's going to be completely amazing.
It looks interesting. It does. There's one more though, because Disney Plus said, no, we're not going to do that on the same day as everything else releases. We got to have our own day. It's got to be Thanksgiving Day.
So on Wednesday, you go see Strange World. And then on Thursday, after you take your nap and watch the Lions get destroyed by the Buffalo Bills, you're going to go ahead and turn on.
Wait, is that who they're playing this Thanksgiving?
I believe the Bills were playing the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Oh my God, that's going to be a destruction-thon. All right.
Massacre.
Jesus.
So if that's on, and especially if that happens to be the primetime game, you definitely want to go check out Disenchanted. That's right. Patrick Dempsey and Amy Adams are back singing all of their favorites years after their happily ever after. Giselle and Robert and Morgan move to a new community and the real world is thrown off balance. And what are they going to do to make it up? It's going to be great. Can't wait.
All those movies, and now I'm most excited about Buffalo going on a safari to Detroit. I think that's great. I Devotion, you talked about that one. That looks really exciting. Like I said, I love Glenn Powell. Jonathan Majors is really growing on me too. He's really a talented up and comer. I saw the Creed 3 trailer, and I'm not a huge Creed fan, but he just looks phenomenal. Like, he's just such a good actor. Can't wait to see what he does in Marvel too. He's going to be he's Kang, the new Ant-Man, and everything else that's coming up, Kang. But of all these, the Fablemans, I'm a huge Spielberg early 80s fan. I mean, I still love Spielberg, but his early 80s movies are really magic. And this is supposed to be really showing how he became who he was, but mostly how his parents helped him become who he was. And I very much understand the supportiveness of film and family. And so it seems very close to my heart. I've got a friend on the Beloit International Film Festival, which I'm on the board, that has seen it. He actually saw it at a film festival earlier and said it's just one of, if not the best movie he's seen in forever. It really is a movie that sings to people that love film, that sings to people that love movies. It's just a love letter to family and film itself, and I can't not see that. And
it's kind of probably how I feel about when I saw the trailer for Super 8 originally.
Yeah.
Where it just had that very good, 1980s Goonies, E.T., kids on bikes kind of feel to it. It's why Stranger Things did so well when it first aired, because it had that classic 80s feel to it. This is going to be probably an Oscar contender for sure. At least that's my prediction.
I think everything he does these days is an Oscar contender. But I'm not trying to dislocate Disenchanted, because it does look great. And Amy Adams, I love her in this role. I loved her in the first one. That was one of the few movies of this kind that I was enamored with her whole performance. I can't wait to see her do this again.
Well, and the combination of when it first came out, of the difference between the real world and the cartoon world, and how they can play with that again. Be interesting to see if they do that same concept for this, or if it's all strictly in the real world. But this is like Frozen 2, right? You mess with Frozen, you got some problems. And Frozen 2 was able to pull it off with even better songs, an even deeper, darker story in Frozen 2.
Let's go easy on better songs, all right? Let It Go is not getting topped.
Well, no, but I mean,
overall,
you could have gotten
maybe
the songs could have been really bad and not singable, and
sure.
People still do sing the songs in the second movie. So this is one of those things where the music is going to make or break this film. The songs have to be something that kids are going to be singing days after, all the way through to Christmas, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if you have young females in your family, make sure that bring earplugs to Christmas. Or Thanksgiving. It's because you might still be sticking at the house for another 3 days of the weekend.
Spoken like a true dad of a teenager.
You got it.
That's funny. Well, speaking of Glenn Powell and fantastic legacy sequels, I got to mention Top Gun Maverick real quick, because you can bring home Top Gun Maverick on 4K UHD disc right now. Tom Cruise stars in the spectacular, action-packed epic, which critics are calling one of the greatest movies ever made. It's definitely, from us, the best movie this summer. I think we all agreed on that.
By far.
Buy Top Gun Maverick on 4K UHD disc and dive into over 80 minutes of incredible behind-the-scenes bonus content. I'm sure some of that content has got to be Tom Cruise doing something he shouldn't be doing, but the insurance company didn't know about it, because that's how Tom Cruise gets it done. It's available in participating retailers, also available on digital. It's rated PG-13 from Paramount Pictures. I can't say enough. I mean, not just because we want you to go out and purchase Top Gun Maverick. That is a fantastic film that I don't think very many people gave it credit that it would be as good as it is.
This is really, really good.
So good.
I'm looking forward to seeing the feature where they actually show how many times he actually did shoot at the hole before he actually got it in the hole. 100, 110. How many takes did it take?
Yeah, we'll find out. I'm sure it's all there. I have no doubt it's there. And guess what? We're also giving away 5 copies. We're giving away 5 physical copies. So you have to live in the U.S., continental U.S., I'm sorry. But if you want to enter for a chance to win one of these 5 copies, send us an email to contests@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. That's contests@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Make sure your name's on there, and the subject line, I want to go to Top Gun. And you'll be entered to win, and we're going to give 5 of those bad boys away. You'll be contacted by email if you want.
You thought the trick-or-treating was over. Look at that.
I wish I could win.
full-size movies in our candy bucket for you.
Oh, great movie, too. All right, we're going to move on to Friday, December 2nd, 2022, the first of 2 films, because it's after Thanksgiving. That's usually what happens. It slows down a little bit.
It slows down, yeah.
Women Talking, Claire Foy, Jessie Buckley, Rooney Mara, Frances McDormand. It's directed by Sarah Polley. This is the rare time I am kind of glad John's not here, because it's a movie called Women Talking. I just don't want whatever jokes he would have came up with.
Oh, my gosh. Especially around this particular subject matter.
Especially around this particular film. Women in an isolated religious colony struggle to reconcile with their faith after a series of sexual assaults. It's a very, very serious film. It's got raves coming in and out of it left and right. It sounds like something that is going to be a real Oscar contender for sure. And then, on the flip side, we have Violent Night, which is David Harbour stars as Santa Claus. I said Santa Claus. I did it on purpose. An elite team of mercenaries break into a family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone hostage inside. However, they aren't prepared for a surprise combatant. Santa Claus is on the grounds, and he's about to show why this Nick is no saint. And if you've seen the trailer, you know that he's about to dish out season's beatings. John Leguizamo's the villain. He's the Hans Gruber of this one.
The material just writes itself in that one. It was... Not to take away from Women Talking, because of course we're 2 white dudes on a podcast.
Yeah.
But yes, if the ladies are going to go see Women Talking, the dudes are probably going to go see Violent Night. My issue with Women Talking is it's like, I don't know if I want to sit in the theater to watch that one. It's just, it's such a hard topic.
It's a heavy topic. Yeah, it's a heavy topic.
Yeah. And just Handmaid's Tale for 5 seasons now. It's just, that one I think I got to like sit with and be able to, it's kind of like watching, oh my gosh, The Last Duel, right? Like I saw that in the theater.
Brilliant.
I think
movie.
I would have
brilliant movie.
Brilliantly done. And I think I don't know if I would have just liked it even more if I had just time to sit with it at home versus seeing it in the theater. I'm glad I saw it in the theater because of the production value. That
sure.
Obviously, jousting and all the other fun stuff. But man, it's like when you get something like this, it's hard. It's like when the credits roll at the end, like you have to go with the right people because there's going to be conversation afterwards. And you want to be able to talk about it, or you're just going to be kind of like, oh, just, either feel gross about yourself because obviously we're dudes.
Well, I mean, I just feel gross about society. I feel fine about myself because I'm not one of these
I'm
awful
not that
people.
way.
But
right.
I want to see it because I love heavy topics, especially if they're well told. Too often stories like this are kind of exploitative. I don't like when it's represented like that. This is from a woman. It stars nothing but talented women. I think it's going to be a beautiful film. It's just probably going to be very hard to watch. I haven't seen much that Frances McDormand was in that I haven't, at the very least, been captivated by her on screen.
For sure.
At the very least. She's, and then you've also got Claire Foy, who's a fantastic actress. Jessie Buckley, Rooney Mara. I mean, it's full of talent. I can't not see that. But I can't pretend like Violent Night doesn't seem like the more fun option. But honestly, coming off of Thanksgiving, there's a lot of other stuff that already sounds fun. We've seen a lot of entertainment. I probably will see both of these films, honestly, when they come out in the theater.
I mean, to be clear, like Nomadland was good. It kind of was.
I didn't like the movie, but she was always great.
She was amazing.
She was great.
So good in it.
It's just the movie didn't work for me.
Yeah.
But Violent Night looks fabulous.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's right up Aaron's alley.
It really is. It is like Die Hard's now a Christmas movie, bitches. Ha ha. We're going to make the actual Die Hard Christmas movie. So now every year, if this is good, because I haven't seen it, but the trailer seems like it's right up David Harbour's wheelhouse.
For sure.
This is going to be a perfect compliment to Die Hard on my Christmas tree.
Yeah. You're going to literally watch both of these back to back.
Yep.
On Christmas morning before you open up presents.
Love it. All right.
Along with Kurt. Don't forget Kurt's movie from Netflix.
When am I getting the Christmas Chronicles 3? That's the important question.
Absolutely. All right. Friday, December 9th, we have The Empire of Light, rated R, with Olivia Colman and Colin Firth. A romance develops in a beautiful old cinema on the south coast of England in the 1980s. Everybody say, "Aww." Then we have Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which will be out in theaters earlier, but will come to Netflix on December 9th. David Bradley and Gregory Mann will play off a father's wish, magically bringing a wooden boy to life in Italy, giving him a chance to care for the child.
Second Pinocchio movie this year.
Yeah. Like, how many Pinocchios do we need?
I don't know. Don't lie about it.
That's for sure. But don't poke your eyes out when you see this one, because the most controversial film of the year is still coming to Apple TV Plus. Yes, Slapman himself, Will Smith, is coming with Emancipation. Peter is a slave fleeing a plantation in Louisiana after he was whipped within an inch of his life. He has to outwit cold-blooded hunters and the unforgiving swamps of Louisiana on a torturous journey north. I am sure this movie is going to be absolutely fantastic. Problem is are people going to watch it because it stars Will Smith?
Hey, Troy.
Who literally beat a black man.
Hey.
Just for the record.
Ouch. Ouch. Hey, Troy.
Hey.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap!
Slap!
I guess we might as well start there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel
good on Apple, right? You have content, you have a service. Nobody's really watching the service because,
it's Apple.
Severance is gone, right? Nobody's watching C, that's for sure.
But they are raising the rates somehow. They're still raising the rates. I'm like, you don't have enough content to raise the rates, but okay.
Exactly. I have Apple One, so it doesn't matter. I just pay one flat fee for all of it.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I'm glad they're putting it out. I think it's a story that needs to be seen 100%. So it's just a matter of, can you get past who is in the role and just enjoy the story for the story? So I would recommend watching it just because the story is going to be very powerful.
Can you get past it? You, Troy Heinrichs, personally?
Yeah, as long as Will Smith isn't nominated for an Oscar for it, I'm good.
Yeah, I've actually pondered this quite a bit because honestly, I just want my bad boys. What are we on 4? I want the next bad boys. So whatever's going to bring him back to do that. But on the same token, there are a lot of people that say, it was way overblown. It was this and that. Give him all he did was slap a guy. Again, yes, that's one way to look at it. But on the same token, I think for many people, they saw Will Smith as their friend in a lot of ways. So it was quite shocking and jarring for them. And plus, it was on a world stage. It was completely uncalled for. It was at an industry event. So literally, you have workplace violence, and anytime you have workplace violence, any one of us does this, we'd be fired on the spot. So the fact that he's still actually able to be in a movie, I mean, we would have been cleared out of that building right away. Well, that's a whole nother discussion we've already had multiple times.
Right.
I think people will get over it. I think it'll just take one great role. His apology tour, it hasn't really seemed genuine because to me, they had plenty of time walking on the stage to think about what you did and walking off the stage and after the moment before you accepted your award, and just nothing has really felt genuine since then. So it's just, to me, the whole thing has really created this, sometimes I forget that Hollywood is an act 99% of the time. So even when you see them in their candidate interviews, they've prepped for it, they've rehearsed it. All of that stuff is just prep. It's all
they're paid to act.
To act at all times. So, sometimes I forget that. Sometimes it's hard to forget, what? But on the same token, it's the only incident the guy's ever had in his entire career, even though I think it's a big issue. But
it's the only incident he had on a night where he was like the for sure winner. And you
ruined your own night.
You ruined yourself. Like dumb.
But I'll still watch it. I will watch Will Smith and Will Smith movies, and I think I'm okay with it now. I mean, it hurt me because it ruined my favorite night of the year. Like your selfishness ruined my favorite night of the year. That's why, to me, it's personal, and it was ruined by someone that was very, very high on my fandom list, like probably top 10, on my fandom list. Like Will Smith was way up there. It really knocked him down, probably top 50. So. To me, it was
and the fact
felt personal.
This is going to distract because it's Will Smith. It's going to distract from the content, from the story, from the things that people need to hear. That's the issue that just drives me crazy with this, because I think it's going to be really, really a great movie.
But if it's a great movie, I feel like that will put some distance in it. Now, I don't think he'll be nominated for an Oscar, no matter how great he is. Just on principle, I don't think.
He can't be, right? He was banned.
No, he can be nominated. Right. He can't attend the ceremony.
Okay.
They stipulated that, so he can still be nominated. If he won by some fluke, he could not show up and collect the trophy there. They'd have to do it via FaceTime, zoom him in.
Present to win. If you're not there, does it go to the second runner-up?
I think it should this year. Yeah, if he gets it, just on principle.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that. I still want to see the movie. Antoine Fuqua is a wonderful director. Love his work. So I'll still check it out. It's probably one of the few things on Apple I've watched in the last year. The Pinocchio.
I mean, in Pinocchio, you're going to watch because
I'm not going to watch
it's
it.
Guillermo.
I'm not going to watch
it's Guillermo, though.
I'm not going to. I don't give a shit about Pinocchio. I'm done with Pinocchio. I didn't want to watch Tom Hanks' Pinocchio. I don't want to watch this Pinocchio. I've seen this story. It's not that great. I don't like Pinocchio. I feel like you're mad at me.
No, it's Guillermo, though. I feel like I have to give Guillermo a shot, at least watch the first 20 minutes.
I tell you what, if the reviews come out and I get the vibe that it's anything different than what I'm used to, like it's stylistically, it's completely different than anything I'm used to, I will give it a shot. I just feel, if he turns it into a really, really gothic fable or something, or finds a way to make Pinocchio a kaiju or something, then I'm in.
Oh man, giant kaiju. You imagine how big that nose would be?
It'd be huge. Huge. You think when Pinocchio
did it all in what if it was all in 2D? Just flat paper.
Oh, no. That doesn't sound very exciting. Maybe if they do some interesting stuff, like Pinocchio goes on a date and his date's like, lie to me. And he doesn't get why. And she's like, no, keep lying.
And here we thought John wasn't going to show up this week.
Sorry. Empire of Light, that's the kind of movie I'd watch at home. I don't really know the theater.
Yeah.
I love Olivia Colman and Colin Firth. I think they're both great actors. Olivia Colman is just magnetic. It's just not the kind of movie I'm going to see in a theater.
Agree.
All right, moving on.
Although technically that's the only thing in the theater that weekend, so you have to actually get your AMC usage for that weekend. So
it's true. Maybe I'll have to go. Well, yeah, I guess it's the only one going to be in the theater, right? Because one's Netflix and one's Apple TV. Damn it!
Right. Damn it.
Well, you know what? Since it's on Netflix, I could probably watch 10 minutes of Pinocchio and see where I land. Did you watch the Tom Hanks one?
No.
Neither did I. Why did you not care about that one? Tom Hanks is a beloved leading man. Why did you not watch that one?
I don't need to watch freaking Pinocchio anymore. I didn't like it when it was in the 1940s.
Then why do you want to see this one? Just because Del Toro?
Yeah.
It's a fair argument. Okay. We move on.
And because I can literally turn it off in 10 minutes and I didn't pay anything for it.
I don't think we're ever moving on. I think at this point, you're just doing it on purpose.
Pinocchio every year.
Why not? Apparently, we get them twice a year. That's how often. This is like when we got, Deep Impact and Armageddon, except it's the same movie. Exactly.
Pinocchio.
Tombstone and Wyatt Earp. We got Pinocchio and Pinocchio. Well, one's Del Toro's Pinocchio. Oh, that's drastically different then. Same freaking story. All right. Speaking of the same story, Friday, December 16th, 2022, we get Avatar, The Way of Water. Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Jake Sully, and Neytiri have formed a family and are doing everything to stay together. However, they must leave their home and explore the regions of Pandora. When an ancient threat resurfaces, Jake must fight a difficult war against the humans. We'll come back to this in 1 second. The other movie is, spoiler alert, The Hero Dies, with Sally Field and Jim Parsons. Writer Michael Ausiello embarks on a roller coaster ride of emotions when his partner gets diagnosed with terminal cancer. Back to Avatar. It's been over a decade in the waiting. James Cameron returns. He's already making, I think, 2 more of these on top of this one. This movie.
That's what they said 10 years ago.
Yeah. This movie, I think he's finished them, actually. I think he's finished filming them all.
I think he filmed them like
back to back to back.
Peter Jackson style.
Mm-hmm.
He did all of them at once, so that was all part of the same kind of thing.
And 3 hours long.
Also
and 3 hours long.
There's
3 hours long.
Still not as long as Babylon, though.
Yeah, that and Babylon are both 3 hours long. So
Babylon's 3 hours and 6 minutes.
Oh, Jesus, whatever the number is. Do you want to see this?
I do. I remembered watching the first one in IMAX, and I was like, I never thought I would ever, and yes, I am a sap, but I never thought I would cry for a tree in my life. And man, when Home Tree comes down in that movie in IMAX and the AWA seeds are like in the 3D on your shoulders, and it was moving and it was powerful. And if you watch it in anything other than IMAX 3D, the movie sucks so bad. Because it's just not that immersive experience. You have to see it in that immersive experience, I think, for it to have the same emotional impact. Because when you watch it on a 2D flat screen, it's very flat, for lack of a better term.
No,
it wasn't the same emotional impact watching it a second time. So I think it's a one-time experience kind of movie. I think this will be great because I think the water features are going to be super interesting from an artistic perspective. But yeah, it's also like just 10 years later. Like, It's like, imagine the Terminator coming 10 years later, being like, oh, who's the Terminator? Who's John Connor? Like, just doesn't make sense.
Well, I do want to, I mean, it's funny that you say that. So Avatar came out in 2009. This is coming out in 2022. I just want to point out, James Cameron's the guy that made T2, which is arguably one of the best sequels of all time. Legacy sequels.
True statement.
Which means comes out like over a decade after the original, or close to it. I mean, it came out a long time after the original movie. If anybody can do it, James Cameron can do it. I think he's just a guy you don't bet against. You know, I have no doubt. I know that this is going to have some pretty fantastic technology, and I think that's what people are really excited about. You know, I thought at one time the 3D was going to be unnecessary. You wouldn't need glasses, but you do. You will need glasses.
Yeah. I don't know how you get around that. You need the polarization factor because it's the way the screens are created. You'd have to completely retrofit an entire theater with brand new technology where the screen would be able to handle the polarization, and movie theaters are just not outfitted that way. I can see maybe like somewhere on a Disney lot or Warner Brothers or some, you know, there's like a theater that has that technology, but it's only in that theater that you would be able to have that experience. I don't know. Like, I'm still waiting for my Abyss sequel. I love the Abyss. I think it's great. Can we do that instead? It's in the water.
Do you really want to see it?
Maybe this is the Abyss sequel. Maybe it's tied together. The aliens from the Abyss were actually from Pandora.
I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of people talking about the glasses necessarily aren't needed, but I don't know if that's actually something that's happening, because I think that it is required to do that still. But what I do want to say is, because like you said, the underwater is going to look amazing. I really have no doubt the effects are going to, I think the movie's probably going to be really great. I don't know if it's going to be a hit yet, but you know, I was doubting it for a lot of the year. And then I started remembering, you can never doubt Cameron. They re-released Avatar recently, and it was actually a hit. As far as re-releases go, I mean, 13, 14 years later, as far as re-releases go, it did pretty well.
Would it have done as well had they not built the land in Disney World? Because I feel like people have gone to Disney World, seen the Avatar experience,
I don't think
and
that
then went,
mattered.
man, I really want to see that movie because I didn't get a chance to see that movie in the theater.
No.
And then they released it in the theater.
I don't think so. I think people went because they genuinely were huge fans of the original. Like, for all the people that deny that they were fans of Avatar, the movie made Avengers level money. It was a huge hit. Huge hit.
It was a Titanic taking.
Yeah, it was. I think it took down Titanic in terms of box office. It was a monster hit, man. It was huge. So, yeah, there's a lot of fans. They want to see the next one. You know, maybe they're closet fans. They don't want to talk about it. But there's definitely a lot of people that just can't wait to see this. I don't know if it's going to be a monster hit, but I think it'll do enough to where, okay, Avatar's still relevant.
Yeah, it's going to really depend on how much legs Wakanda has, I think, going into December.
Oh, I think Wakanda will have thinned out quite a bit by then. By December 16th? Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah, but I mean, people might like, I don't want to go see that movie. It's very similar to Wakanda. I already saw that.
Why was it similar? Just because there's water?
Yeah.
No,
exactly. I mean,
it's not even close to the same kind of story. I mean, I guess it's close. You got
it's close.
A lot of CGI and there's water.
Yeah. I mean, non-aficionado people like us that listen to the show and put on this show, but I mean, like general population, I can see them going like, I already saw a water movie. I don't want to see a water movie. It's too expensive.
I don't think so, man. I think people are going to see, you know, you're going to see grandma and grandpa see James Cameron's name. They're going to be happy to go see this with their grandkids. This is going to be one of those movies that plays huge through Christmas and the holidays. I think it's going to be a huge family movie because everybody in the family can watch it.
They should have released it a week later then instead of doing
No, this is perfect. That's what Star Wars always did. The week before Christmas. You just basically, it's the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks of the holidays, and you're just like getting cash left and right. Ching, ching, ching.
It's true.
December 21st. That's you.
All right. I want to dance with somebody. Naomi Aki, Stanley Tucci. We are getting the same kind of concept, right? Here's the Elvis version, Bohemian Rhapsody version of the Whitney Houston story. She rises from obscurity to international fame in the 1980s to become one of the greatest singers of her generation. Also, you thought Shrek was done. Well, it is because Shrek's not coming back, but Puss in Boots is, and Puss in Boots,
excuse me.
The Last Wish.
Hey, it's Puss and Boots.
Puss and Boots. Antonio Banderas and Chris Miller are going to be back as Boots discovers that his passion for adventure has taken its toll. He has burned through 8 of his 9 lives. Puss sets out on an epic journey to find the mythical last wish and restore his 9 lives to the beginning.
It's funny.
It's a good one for the kids. It'll be fun. They're just getting out of school. They can go ahead and see that, which will be fine. And then we continue on into the weekend, obviously, for Christmas. We have the world's longest movie, it feels like, coming in Babylon with Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie with over 3 hours of runtime. Damien Chazelle directs. Decadence, depravity, outrageous excess lead to the rise and fall of several ambitious dreamers in 1920s Hollywood, which will be going up against Netflix's Knives Out sequel, The Glass Onion. Daniel Craig, Catherine Hahn, Jessica Henwick, Dave Bautista, Kate Hudson, you name it, they're in this movie. Tech billionaire invites his friends for a getaway on his private Greek island when someone turns up dead. Detective Bignon Blanc, you have to say it like Hercule Poirot, is put on the case, and Daniel Craig goes to work. You can obviously see Knives Out, a mystery for The Glass Onion, the Thanksgiving weekend in theaters, but this is when it'll actually hit Netflix on the Christmas weekend.
I've already got my tickets for the theater.
And of course, Christmas would not be complete unless we talk about one Mr. Tom Hanks. Yes, that's right. A Man Called Otto is coming to limited theatrical release Christmas weekend. When a lively young family moves in next door to this grumpy old widower, Otto Anderson meets his match in a quick-witted pregnant woman named Marisol, leading to an unlikely friendship that turns his world upside down. Also, we have White Noise.
Take a pause. We got to talk about these movies. God damn it!
Sorry, you didn't break that one for the following weekend. That's December 30th.
Yeah, take a breath. Take a breath.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I have my tickets for Glass Onion. It's my most anticipated movie of the year. I am seeing it Thanksgiving weekend, so I will have a report for you, dear listeners, Thanksgiving weekend, so you'll know way ahead of time if it's worth it. If you haven't gone to the theater to see it, it's only playing for 1 freaking week in theaters. That's it.
Aaron will spoil the whole thing.
I am. I'm going to put out a spoiler cast. I'm going to tell you who done it and why, in what room, and with what object.
Who did it with whom in what room? What?
Yes, all of that. But I can't wait, man. The reviews are out of this world for the sequel. So I'm so stoked. Are you excited for that one, or am I the only one that?
No, I have tickets for 10:30 Friday morning, Black Friday.
Awesome.
I'm going to make sure I get there before everybody else hits the theater later in the afternoon. Screw those guys.
That's fantastic. I can't wait. I'm glad that Netflix. I have guaranteed 2 more of these movies, and Ryan Johnson, who wrote and directed these. He has said, I am looking at more stories. So if these do really, really well, he might do even more stories. And if this one's as good as reviews are leading me to believe, I want more stories. I just
wasn't that
love
the guy that
like
did
this.
that, that Star Wars movie, the one that everybody hated?
Yeah. I think people are just like wanting to see this one and make sure everybody goes to see this one to keep him away from Star Wars, because he's still supposed to do a trilogy or something over there.
I really enjoyed that movie. I really did. I thought it was the
Last
best
Jedi?
one of the 3, to be honest. Yeah.
The longest chase in space?
The long chase in space aside, but I thought the rest of the movie was actually really, really great. It felt like an Empire kind of movie.
I liked it, minus the whole casino heist that felt like was completely unnecessary. But so breaking it down, the 14 movies that you went over, I Want to Dance with Somebody. I mean, I love Whitney Houston.
It was 5. It was only 5.
I know. I love Whitney Houston. I do want to see this. It does kind of, the trailer doesn't make it feel as epic as Bohemian Rhapsody. I feel like, and I'm only going by the trailer, I feel like Whitney deserves better.
Yeah. I think it's the what do you call it? The roller coaster, right? Like Bohemian Rhapsody, really good. Rocket Man, not so much. Elvis, pretty decent. Whitney Houston, we'll see. Jury's out.
She's got a story that's worth telling, and I don't mean the end of it. That's tragic. But her rise to fame and everything else is just, I want her to get the showcase she deserves. She was a fantastic talent. Her downward spiral just broke my heart, honestly.
God, how many times did we watch Bodyguard growing up?
Oh my God. She broke my heart. I so wanted to be Kevin Costner. Still do.
Still do.
Puss in Boots, we talked about that, but I'm glad that it's back. I think that's a good family film. And you know what's funny is that it's kind of timeless because people still know who Puss in Boots.
Right.
It's Antonio.
But then who
Banderas.
Puss is. Puss is
Yeah.
his name.
Yes.
He wears boots.
He's Puss in Boots. Now Babylon, that's the big question for me. What do you think about this 3-hour epic? It's like almost $100 million. Damien Chazelle did Whiplash and La La Land. So now he's tackling Hollywood yet again, and he's going back to, the decadence, the hysteria, the glamour, but also the depravity. What do you think do you think this one's going to sell? To me, I feel like this is going to be a hard movie to sell to general audiences.
I guess it depends on how much music plays into it, how musical La La Landish versus like the Whiplash side of things. You got to do a lot to fill 3 hours. I mean, Frodo and those guys walked a long time to fill 3 hours. So you got to really keep attention. I mean, we watched sand blow in the wind for Dune for 3 hours, and we got to do it again, unfortunately.
No, you got to do it again. I ain't watching it again. I'm good.
Well, I got to see how it ends. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Because it was the most faithful adaptation to the book in the stylizations and stuff that they did.
That's a boring ass book.
Oh my God. It's like,
God, that book was a nap
boring.
sandwich. Jesus.
Boring. So yeah, I just rewatched La La Land. I love La La Land. I love Whiplash.
I do too.
It's Margot Robbie. It's Brad Pitt. It's like, yeah, like I'm there. I'm gonna be there. I'm going. I already paid my $23 for the month. I've already been there a few times already that month. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be there to watch this and just bring an extra large cup with me.
I am convinced Margot Robbie might be the top 3 actresses working today.
She is so dynamic, flexible,
Diverse.
molded into any character she does.
Mm-hmm.
You almost forget that it's Margot Robbie half the time.
She just has that enigmatic persona. I mean, I don't know what it is, but she inhabits whatever she's doing. And even when if she's playing a character who's kind of despicable, even when she's Tanya Harding, it's still hard to not
Root for her.
be there. Yeah, root for her. I mean, you're there the whole time. I mean, she's that good. And the rest of the cast, I got to mention this, like Olivia Wilde's in it, Gene Smart's in it, Samara Weaving's in it, Eric Roberts is in it, Tobey Maguire's in it, Spike Jonze is in it, Lucas Haas is in it. Like, it's got this nonstop. Flea's in it. Why? I don't know. He's just there. So, I mean, it's got this phenomenal cast, and you've got one of the most talented actresses working today. And obviously, in Brad Pitt, of course. I mean, I'm not knocking the Pitt. Pitt's amazing. Got to see it. Can't wait. It's going to be a long 3 hours, but I love movies about Hollywood. And I love that this doesn't seem like a movie that's showing you how wonderful Hollywood is again. It's showing you both sides. There's magic and there's misery.
Yeah, it feels like it should be a Tarantino movie for some reason. I don't know why. It just
we got that. It was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it feels like that kind of epic.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping it's as good. I'm
really glad that I'm going to see Knives Out, A Glass Onion, on Thanksgiving weekend, so that this weekend is freed up for this specifically. I don't know if I could do 2 movies in one weekend. They're 3 hours long.
I can't wait for us to review it. And, John, he's got to wait a month. Torture. We should tell him
for us to review Babylon. I was like, man, that's going to be a long podcast. 6 hours?
Yeah, we're going to review it as we watch it. No, we're going to start the podcast after Knives Out comes out, and we're going to just start it telling. We'll beep it out for you guys, but we're going to tell John who done it. That'll teach him. What about?
All right, why don't you finish up what's coming out on my birthday then?
Well, hang on. Let me ask you this: Man Called Otto. That's Tom Hanks' movie.
Fine.
It sounds cute, but I don't really care if I see it.
It's adorable. It looks adorable. It's going to be a fun one.
Okay.
It's a great go to the family to the theater on Christmas Day after you open your presents. It's going to be really good.
Do you feel like it's more Tom Hanks that we're used to versus this weird character he's come up with the last few movies? I mean, in Pinocchio and Elvis, I mean, he's not a voice guy.
I think this is a return to form. I think this is the Fred Rogers, The Terminal, not Road to Perdition, but
that's a great movie.
This is
it's a great movie.
Yeah, this is the Tom that we like. It's Uncle Tom. Like, hey, Uncle Tom, what's going on?
All right. 2 more left. White Noise comes to Netflix on December 30th. And theatrical release is also November 23rd. So Netflix is getting a lot of these 1 week releases where they're just dumping a bunch of them in theaters, qualifying for an Oscar run, also giving you the opportunity to maybe see it. But this isn't going to be as wide as Knives Out because this and Pinocchio, I think, are just Oscar qualifiers, is why they're hitting theaters. So it'll be more limited. But it is Adam Driver, Greta Gerwig, college professor Jack Gladney and his family's comfortable suburban life is upended when a nearby chemical leak causes the airborne toxic event, releasing a noxious black cloud over the region that forces the Gladney family to evacuate. And then also Netflix on December 30th, Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, Kiefer Sutherland, They Cloned Tyrone. A series of eerie events thrusts an unlikely trio onto the trail of a nefarious government conspiracy and its pulpy mystery caper. White Noise sounds interesting, but not dire. I don't feel like I have to see that when it comes out. They Clone Tyrone sounds right up my alley, and John Boyega is making some really interesting choices.
I think both are worth watching. Two different kind of styles.
Perfect for New Year's, and they're both on Netflix, so you can watch them at home.
That's right. Instead of watching whatever that ball drop thing.
Oh, God. Which one do you watch from the ball drop? Do you watch Anderson Cooper? Who do you watch? Nobody?
I don't.
Me either. You don't even I usually turn it on like right before it's supposed to drop.
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go back to my movie.
I'm usually at a party by myself. It's party of one.
It's a great party, though. You're pretty awesome.
Aw. Jesus, I love you. I love you. All right, well, let's wrap this up because we got a lot of movies there. What are you most looking forward to of all those?
Oh, man. Obviously, Wakanda Forever is definitely high on the list. Also, really, really excited to see Disenchanted because I love musicals. Fablemans will be interesting. And The Menu was like, I was really like, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, this is cool. Oh, and of course, The Glass Onion. Of course.
Well, that's my number one by a mile. Fablemans is probably number 2. Black Panther is number 3. And, then it gets a little trickier. I think Violent Night's up there just because, and then I they're kind of similar topics, but when you go from she said to women talking, but I think I'm going to lean toward women talking. I want to see that story because I know the Harvey Weinstein story, but don't get me wrong. I'm still going to see both in the theater. But Sarah Polley is an actress who has been kind of showcasing her directorial ability over the years, and I want to see what she does here. I want to see how this film.
Well, and it's the angle too around the religion aspect of it, right? I mean, you have
a different angle.
Baptist people in yours, and me coming up, on the Protestant side, and we always talk about The Devil All the Time on Netflix as being a really good religion as an abuse kind of concept. So seeing the Mennonite religion in this particular movie is going to be interesting.
Yes, and I don't say that as a negative. Religion is on half of my family. I've seen good and bad from it. So these stories and they're usually heartbreaking, sadly. What's your overall verdict on the holiday releases? Great, good enough, ugly enough to make you go outside? What?
No, I think this is a really good rundown. I think there's enough here that's going to get me really excited to go back to the theater. I've been absent for quite a while. I thought August and September were kind of slow, to be quite honest. So there's a good push here, starting even this weekend. So I'm really excited to see Nicole. I've missed her. Spend some time. Maybe we'll sit next to each other and hold hands. I don't know, but it's a good movie season. I think this is a good return to form coming. First holiday really out of the pandemic, where it's like full-fledged, full theater kind of push. I think that's going to be really great, and maybe it'll give us a little boost going into January, because that'll be the real test to see how January and February fare out before Oscar night.
I think it's a great slate, but I do miss the days of there being like 4 or 5 fantastic options on Christmas Day. I feel like they're still kind of coming out of the pandemic, so they didn't want to have too many movies slated for the holidays this year, just in case something else, there's another wave or anything. And by the time things really started clearing up, it was already too late to really put a bunch of them in there. But I do miss that because, I'm used to Christmas Day. I go see a movie every Christmas Day. And then I have stuff to see several times over the course of a week. I'm going to have to go see the same movie now. Because I'm like most people, I don't want to watch them at home. I want to watch them in a theater. That's just who I am.
And it's a long day at the theater because you got to watch Babylon.
Well, definitely. I mean, that's one of them. I feel like you're going to have hits, but it's not going to be like it has in the years past, because usually there are 3 or 4 that drop on Christmas Day, but that's okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Les Mis movie on Christmas Day with the family. That was a really great experience.
Oh man, I love doing that. I love it. Yeah. All right, so what's your prediction for biggest hit?
I think Wakanda's going to get ahead of Avatar.
Do you? So your money's on Black Panther.
I think Wakanda's going to beat out Avatar.
Okay. I'm going Avatar. I don't know why. My gut, it's a James Cameron thing. I think Cameron can do it. I think he can eke out a win against Black Panther.
I think the kids are so pumped. The teens are pumped. That entire millennial digital native, the tweeting, the TikToks, the Wakanda Forever. Wakanda's gonna clean house. Because it's uncontested. I mean, really, it's uncontested for the 4 weeks it'll run. Sure. And then Avatar is going to come out and it's going to have to contest with everything happening over the Christmas release. So I think you're going to see faster drop off for Avatar. So it's not going to have the same sustainability as it did the first time around. And then it'll be 5 years from now, James Cameron will re-release it. And then that'll make it bigger than Wakanda because the re-release numbers count.
Fair. The Whale is coming out too. We haven't talked about that. That's the Brendan Fraser movie. That's coming out. I can tell you the date here. I'm sorry I didn't have it very handy, but it's coming out December 9th, and that's going to be a limited and it's going to expand. So keep an eye out for The Whale. That's where Brendan Fraser plays a very obese gay man who's just coming to terms with his life. And it's directed by Darren Aronofsky, which is a director I don't like. So it's such a conflict. I love Brendan Fraser, but so I'm going to go in there. I'm going to be like, love, hate. I don't know where to go. But that's coming out. Then you
the standing ovation things we've seen where Brendan Fraser's just been moved to tears.
Oh man, beautiful
from his performance in this. I think it's going to be amazing.
A couple other ones: The People We Hate at the Wedding, which is a comedy with Annie Murphy and Kristen Bell and Allison Janney. Jesus, really?
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yes, family tensions ramp up among siblings in the week leading up to their half sister's wedding in the country, and that's an Amazon Prime movie that comes out November 18th. So there's
that sounds like Bad Moms, but instead Bad Sisters.
Kinda, yeah. And I mean, you can't go wrong with that list, right?
Oh, that's for sure.
That's just fantastic.
Just to see Annie Murphy and Kristen Bell alone go back and forth, I think would be hysterical.
Another Florence Pugh movie. It's going to be on Netflix, The Wonder, which is coming out, I believe, in November. I don't have a firm date, but it's set in the Irish Midlands in 1862. Follows a young girl who stops eating but remains miraculously alive and well. An English nurse is brought in to the tiny village to observe 11-year-old Anna O'Donnell, tourists and pilgrims mass to witness the girl who's said to have survived without food for months. So it sounds intriguing. So there's some good stuff. And there's also The Sun. That's one that I wanted to mention because I thought this sounded pretty fantastic, but it feels like Oscar bait. It's Hugh Jackman, Laura Dern. It's a drama directed by Florian Zeller, based on a stage play. And it's basically a follow-up to The Father, which if you saw that one, that's a heartbreaker. That was a heartbreaker about a man who has Alzheimer's. Peters has a busy life with new partner Beth and their baby thrown into disarray when his ex-wife Kate turns up with their teenage son Nicholas. So it's a dad who's now got to deal with his teenage son. So man, there's still a lot of smaller independents. R.I.P.D. 2 is coming out. If you're really if you're desperate for entertainment in November, look for that. Everybody was wanting that sequel. So there's a ton of stuff for everybody coming out this holiday. What do you think the biggest...
What are the listeners most excited about?
Okay, listeners, based on our list, our poll, we have a few that got 0. White Noise got 0 votes. Jesus, that's got to suck. The Pale Blue Eye, that's one I haven't talked about, so I should probably mention. That is Christian Bale, which is a fantastic actor, right? Wonderful actor. Mm-hmm. Veteran detective Augustus Landor investigates a series of grisly murders with the help of a young cadet who will eventually go on to become the world-famous author Edgar Allan Poe. That is Netflix, December 23rd.
I did see the trailer for that one, and that looks amazing.
That looks fantastic.
It's the DC version to Marvel versus the Enola Holmes movie. This is the DC version of Enola Holmes, right?
I feel like Netflix is really giving theaters a run for their money this holiday.
They are. They're pulling out all the stops.
They've got something for everybody, man. They really do.
It's why they canceled all of those television shows after the 3rd season, so they could have money to buy all of these movies.
That's true. Most anticipated movie of our listener poll, Glass Onion was number 1. Not really a big surprise.
Not surprised.
Number 2 was Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Number 3 is Avatar, The Way of Water.
So far, the listeners agree with me.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you paid them well. Then we've got The Fabelmans, and then The Whale. So there you go.
There you go.
Brendan Fraser fans. So let's take a bet. Troy, you and me. You've got Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I've got Avatar, The Way of Water. I've got faith in Cameron. You've got faith in Marvel. Let's do a bet. Best gross wins something. It's got to be domestic or worldwide. I'm only thinking domestic.
Domestic.
Okay. So domestic. Domestic box office. What's the win?
What's the win? I got it.
Okay.
Okay. So I win. You have to finish Fringe.
Okay. That's fair because I only got a season and a half left, right?
2.5, I think. Finished. Did you finish 3?
Yes, I think. Yes, I think I finished 3. So I have to finish Fringe.
You got 2.
Okay.
Finish Fringe. 2 seasons.
And if I win, oof. Have you watched Justified?
I have not watched Justified.
All right. If I win, you have to watch at least the first season of Justified.
How many seasons are total?
Well, there's 6 total, but you only have to watch the first one. I'm not going to make you watch all of them. If you don't like it by the end of the first season, you're not going to like it.
You're not going to like it? Okay. But I will watch the first season.
Okay.
All right.
Deal. We won't know until January who won, by the way.
Is that what we're saying? Like whatever the totals are after 4 weeks?
We'll know by mid-January who the winner is here.
Okay.
We'll know. So put in your data bank.
That's right. Listeners, make sure you email us at Aaron at The Hollywood Outsider and say, good luck, sucker.
If I win, you're going to release me from my Blacklist Exposed contract. That's what I should have put in there.
Too bad the season starts before we'll know.
Son of a bitch. All right. Now, are you any prediction for like a huge flop? Do you think any, like, if you look at this, movies that are expected to do well that you think will actually not do very well at all?
Can't really say Strange World because that's going to be a Disney one. It'll always do well. Ooh. I think Slumberland isn't going to do as well as people think. That one just, I don't know. Every time I watch the trailer, I just kind of go like, I'm not really like, like I've seen Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, I
It
don't.
doesn't do it for me.
I don't think, as much as I want to see it and it looks great, I don't think She Said's going to do very well. I just don't. I think people are just going to be turned off by Harvey Weinstein, the name, both by his actions and also being just tired of that story.
Yeah.
So even though it's a great story to tell, I still think it's probably too soon for a movie.
And like Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan aren't like big name.
They're not big names,
right?
Fantastic actresses, but they're not big names. Oh my God, Promising Young Woman. Just love that movie. Absolutely love that movie.
So good. So good.
Okay, that's it, man. That's it, man. Thanks. I'm glad nobody else was here. This one went for like 3 hours.
No doubt. Especially Amanda, right? She would have an opinion on everything.
Shame on her for having opinions. God. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Please remember to visit us on thehollywoodoutsider.com. You can go to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/thehollywoodoutsider. And you can subscribe for bonus content there. We also have our podcast, Bad Movie Night. There's a public version which plays older episodes, or you can subscribe to Patreon and get new versions of it. So you can find The Hollywood Outsider Presents Bad Movie Night in your podcast feed, or you can subscribe to Patreon and get brand new episodes. There's like 50 of them, or 50 additional ones to what's on the public feed already. So you can check that out, as well as we'll be back next week with more of The Hollywood Outsider, which again, always available at thehollywoodoutsider.com. You can find me at Aaron Smirks, and also on the podcast Presenting Hitchcock, as well as The Blacklist Exposed with Troy Heinritz and Beyond Westworld with Troy Heinritz. And you can find Troy at Troy Heinritz.
It's easy. Simple.
Love it. Gotta be easy. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you want a chance to win a copy of Top Gun Maverick, email us, contest@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We have a lot to see. I can't wait to get back to the theater and get excited about what's coming out, as well as, God, if you want to watch stuff at home, there's plenty of that, too. So remember, the next time you go to the theater or you sit comfortably on your couch, buy popcorn.